YouTube and all of the true crime folks here on Crime Time with DutyRon. Welcome to another episode of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We're two retired New York City police detectives with over 40 years of experience between the two of us in law enforcement. I had to say that and accentuate it. Law enforcement.
Heavy on the R. Heavy on the R.
If you like all things true crime related from that police perspective, please consider hitting the subscribe button, which should be anywhere around here on your screen. Hit the notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and this guy, Ed Wallace. This guy, I'm poking him.
Ding, 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 ding.
When we go live or upload a video. And today we're going to talk about Kayla Montgomery. This is not Harmony Montgomery's mom, for those of you who are out there. This is Adam Montgomery's wife. He was married to her. They were living out of a car for a little bit. He got a girlfriend who we know, the girlfriend, Kelsey Smalls, was recently found, I think it was last month, around the 19th, 3/13, in a motel, overdosed. She took a collar for DUI, driving while under the influence, outside of a safe harbor home or a sober home. She overdosed a couple of days later, pending her next court appearance. So today we're going to talk about Kayla Montgomery and her plea deal that was offered to her by the state. But before we get into it, again, I want to say thank you to the Patreon supporters and the channel members, the moderators, the replay viewers. Ed, how much do we love the replay viewers? We
love them greatly.
Yeah.
We know everybody can't go live. People work. People live in different time zones. It's understandable, but it's still, we just love the fact that you all will come in after whatever it is that you're doing, or when you wake up, and join us in the replay.
Yeah, they're awesome. And the comments that they leave are so engaging and so, in tune to the whole police, investigation type setup. It really makes it fantastic when we see you guys, engaging us in the conversation after the video. And that's what's great about YouTube is, like on some social media, Instagram and some of these other applications, you're done with your video or live and there's no comments. So this is a great way to have a conversation after we're done with the video. So thank you to everybody who does that. Let's say hello to some of the folks. Black Rose 11, great moderator and friend. Tara Ellis, Jamie Lane. Thank you, Jamie. Annie B. If you're new, just hopping in and stumbling across this live stream, let us know. Hello from Sweden. Karina, look at that, Ed. Can you pronounce that last name?
Where is it? Okay.
On the screen.
I'm not even going to attempt it.
Okay. I didn't want to either. But hello, Karina. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us from Sweden.
And our friends from Maui. Aloha from the howdy.
Yeah, there you go. Ed speaks quite a bit of several different languages, and he communicates with some of you guys in different languages in the comment section. That's always a pisser to see that, because here I am with my Google Translate. What are they saying? Are they talking about us?
I speak enough of different languages to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, there you go, Ed. And you do a damn good job of it, brother. Real with Robo is here. She says, remember, we just found out a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month or two ago, that Real with Robo is a gal. She says, hi, Duty-Ron and Ed, from me, the kids, and hubby. The kids.
Hello to my fellow Staten Islanders. I see a few here.
Yeah, and the kids and the hubby, kids say, we love you, Ed and DutyRon. Thank you. Thank you, kids.
All right. Love that.
Yeah, so I'm going to play a little piece of media for everybody to get the show started, to give you a little idea. There's a 3-minute court hearing. I want you guys to hear this, because Ed and I feel strongly that Kayla Montgomery knows what happened to Harmony Montgomery. And I hate to be so straightforward with it, but I can't tell you how much my detective spidey sense, the hair on my arm stand up when I look at this girl, and when I see Adam. I know that these two scumbags know exactly what happened to Harmony, and they're just not coming up with it. I feel Kayla is the key to finding out what happened and where she is, and this plea deal is a prerequisite to getting her to kind of turn on Adam, essentially. And I think that she has knowledge that Kelsey Small is now deceased, and we don't know. I didn't check the autopsy results from that case, We don't know if she was killed or if and it said it was not suspicious initially. But how many times you and I, Ed, have heard it's not suspicious, and the investigation goes forward, and now we have a murder investigation on our hands.
Absolutely. How many times have we heard press conference, oh, it was a lone gunman, and later it turns out to be an act of terrorism by a group.
Exactly. So there you go. Let's start this. Let's start it off with this. This will give you a good overview of what's happening in this case. So we'll rock and roll with this just a minute or so.
This is Kayla Montgomery at a prior court appearance. She was not at today's hearing. That's unrelated to the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery, who hasn't been seen in more than 2 years. Tonight, an update from prosecutors on the search for the missing 7-year-old.
The investigation is extremely active, talking to dozens of people, hundreds of hours being invested by the different law enforcement agencies. Every day, every person that we talk to, we do feel like we're getting closer.
Kayla is the estranged wife of Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery. She is charged with theft by deception, a felony, as well as 2 misdemeanor counts of welfare fraud. She is accused of claiming that Harmony was still a member of her household, even though Harmony wasn't living there at the time. Prosecutors say Kayla claimed more than $1,500 in benefits to which she was not entitled.
Simply a theft charge. There's no indication that I've seen whatsoever that the state has evidence that Kayla was involved with any of the actions that may have taken place with Harmony.
Now, no offense to criminal defense attorneys, but whose stomach gets turned when you hear this guy so nonchalantly say, she's just charged with a simple theft charges? Like, come on, guy, give me a break. But I get it. He's got a job to do. And again, to all my criminal defense attorneys, especially Joe Murray, I love you. Jess, the mystery maven. It's just when I see this, I mean, by a show of hands, who feels the same way? When I see and hear these people, not just this guy, just all these criminal defense attorneys, let me back it up. When I hear and see them talk, it just turns my stomach, man, because they know that potentially they could be defending someone who's responsible or knows what happened to now 7 years old Harmony Montgomery. She's been MIA for 2 years. It's just, I don't know. Ed, am I off base on this one?
No, not at all. I mean, they always downplay the charges and so forth that of their clients, to make, and they're always looking for sympathy, and they know that there's a jury pool potentially out there too, so they're going to spin it.
Right, and they got a job to do, and we definitely get that. It's part of our Constitution. You're entitled to a jury of your peers, fair and reason. Everything's. So I get this part. It's just, for me, when I hear it and I see it, it just turns my stomach, especially when it involves children and elderly. There's our friend Shelly B. She is a longtime supporter. She actually has been my friend, Shelly, and she's a wonderful young woman since the Periscope days on Twitter. So Shelly, good to see you. Probably 6 years, 5, 6 years. So welcome to a live stream, Shelly B. Good to see you. Are you in Tennessee or are you where are you? I never know where you are, but it's great to see you, Shelly. Heather, thank you for the super chat. Heather, whatever, says Harmony needs to come home. Gemma's Journey and Grace is here. Love you, Ron, all the way from the UK. Thank you. I don't know. Did I miss another one? Yes. Michelle Ballard sends in $5.99 super sticker. I love that little pug dog there. Those are the ones that go. Right?
Men in Black.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I got sidetracked. It's easy for me to do this, but this shit really gets me when I see this, and I had to put it back. So let's listen.
It reminds me of a famous quote that I use from time to time. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but not their own facts.
Bingo, Yahtzee.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's rock and roll with this again. And this is a replay. I queued it back up.
Simply a theft charge.
He was not entitled.
Simply a theft charge. There's no indication that I've seen whatsoever that the state has evidence that Kayla was involved with any of the actions that may have taken place with Harmony. So right now it's just a theft case against Kayla.
The state has made a plea offer to Kayla, but the details of it are not clear.
Kayla and I are discussing that offer and what she wants to do with it. As I say, at this point in time, she's maintaining her not guilty plea, but she's always going to consider what they're extending as an offer.
So essentially, he's saying there, Ed, my client and I are going to review whether she wants to give up Adam Montgomery and tell what she knows. I mean,
look, it's getting easier and easier for her to do this because he's been charged with more crimes now. So the odds are he's not getting out.
Exactly.
Okay. So if she wants to save her own 6, then she can give it up. She knows what happened. She lived there. Exactly. There's no way. I mean, and he's like, oh, she wasn't involved. Yeah, she's involved by the mere fact that she was living there and she saw what happened and she didn't say anything.
Right. And she's a fellow, drug user. I get scolded when I say junkie, so I'm not going to say that, but it is
substance abuser.
Yeah. So she's a fellow substance abuser and she knows what the hell's going on. They shared their weak moments. They shared their high moments and everything in between. And you and I know from kicking in doors at crack houses left and right and high risk patrol that we did, these people blab about everything to everybody when they're high and they're all, up. Anyways, I want to make it a family show. So I've already cursed a few times, but let me say hello to Sergeant Friday, Dawn Marie, one of our great mods in here. I feel safe right now. Timmy Acosta, look who's here. It's our man.
Big Tim.
Tim is responsible for Ed Wallace being here. Mountain Girl. Yeah, thank you for that, Ed.
Thank you.
Ed Wallace is working the switchboard right now. Mountain Girl, also a YouTube content creator. She shares a lot of our videos, Ed. She's a big fan of ours, and she just got over COVID herself. So good to see you, Mountain Girl, and thank you for always sharing our videos and talking up Crime Time with DutyRon. She knows what time it is. She knows what's up. Trucker Steve is here. Trucker Steve donated $500 to Cassie Carley's sister for the fund for Sailor. I'm all over the place with names, but for little baby Sailor, Trucker Steve said, when I heard this story and I'm following it closely, I want to match the $500 donation that you made on the GoFundMe. And he sent it directly to Cassie's sister. And she was so overwhelmed. I've been communicating with her back and forth. We may have her on the show very soon. So we'll see how that goes. Let's continue with this and move on with the live. Oh, I love all my fellow Marylanders. Nice. Thank you, Ed. All right, let's hear what the last part of this is, and then I'm going to play the actual. I want us to listen together to 3 minutes and 40 seconds of this court hearing, because in this court hearing we hear the judge and the defense and the prosecution, the district attorney. We hear a lot of hints that are hinting to that they're giving her a deal because she knows stuff. And we're going to hear in no uncertain terms the prosecutor say that she knows what happened in that house. So let's let this play.
Another hearing in this case. Another hearing in this case has been set for June 9th. Meantime, no one has been charged in direct connection to Harmony's disappearance. Reporting live in Mitch.
Now, I'm going to link down below in the description a link to the secret witness line. If you have any information in regards to the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery, the Manchester police, we heard the chief on many different occasions speak very strongly. Ed, you and I spoke about the vigor that this guy puts into his press conferences and the emotion. Like I haven't seen many police chiefs exhibit this kind of emotion that the Manchester police chief has exhibited. And I tip my cap to the guy, because a lot of guys try to put that, that force field up where like we're invincible and we're not human. And that gives the human side of law enforcement. What are your thoughts on that, Ed?
Absolutely. And we saw it in the Cassie case with the chief from Florida. Says, give him the needle.
Yeah. He said, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see the needle. He said, either life in prison or the needle. I'd like to see the needle. All right. I'm queuing up this one. It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. But I do, folks, feel that this is really important that we look and watch this. Ed, do you want to keep it like this so we're on the screen? How many guys and girls, do you like this setup or do you like full screen? So I'll let you guys make the decision on this. I'm going to stop it and put it back. Let's see what the chat. What do you think everyone's going to say, Ed? Me and you, or the full screen?
Full screen.
Oh boy, I think the people are going to say they want to see us on there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just busted.
I beg to differ with you, Mr. Wallace.
Yeah, because I know where you're going.
All right. So Brianne says that's okay by me. Right back at you. The people are talking. Let's see. What do we want? This is okay.
You and Ed, you guys, full screen. This is cool. We like seeing. Okay, I won't answer that one.
Okay. So we're going to do split screen. I think everybody wants to see the split screen. Mountain Girl,
right.
the check mark. She's got the green hearts for you, Ed. Let's see. Full screen. Oh my. All right. We'll play half this way and half the other way.
All right.
Let's try this because then we're on the screen. If I stop it, then we could talk.
Okay.
All right.
Paul Garrity, Ms. Montgomery. Good morning.
All right, good morning. So we're here for a dispositional conference today. Why don't I look to you first, Attorney O'Neill, on the status and what you're looking to do next.
So in terms of the status, the state has made a plea
Sounds low.
offer. That was communicated relatively recently. Discovery is, I have to say, for the most part, complete just because of the nature of the ongoing investigation. Obviously, part of the defendant's charge has to do with untruthfulness regarding whether or not the child was in the household. So while the investigation into the whereabouts of the child is ongoing, the state considers that relevant discovery to give to the defendant in terms of anything learned about the whereabouts of the missing child. Has made a plea offer. It was communicated.
All right. So I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to play it back. But Ed, you heard what he said. So she gave him, obviously, the judge gives the state the first go around and to say what the hearing's about, and the plea. This is a plea hearing. Whether she's going to accept a plea or not. Basically, he said she has lived in the house. She knows potentially has potential information, and then we're going to hear the defense attorney say no, that she doesn't. But he doesn't say that they don't want to accept the plea deal. They're just going to review it. What's your thoughts on this one here, Ed? Oops. How did I do that? I muted him. Okay, now you're back. I had you muted. I
thought the plea deal was contingent on her being truthful because he says that she has been less than truthful in about the missing child, and so the plea deal it has to be associated with her being truthful. So they're going to have the defense is going to have to proffer some information about the whereabouts. Otherwise, what's in the best interest of the state to go forward with this plea deal if she's not giving up any information about the missing child? I don't understand that.
Right, correct. So let's listen to it again. That's why I queued it back up, and I want to go full screen because I think full screen. I think you were right. Now I'm agreeing with you. I like it better so everybody could see it, but I wish the volume was a little louder. But I think it's just in my ear that it's a little low. Let me know in the comments if you can the chat if you guys can hear the volume good.
Communicated relatively recently. Discovery
On the status and
back.
what you're looking to do next.
So in terms of
All right, good morning. So we're here for a dispositional conference today. Why don't I look to you first, Attorney O'Neill, on the status and what you're looking to do next.
So in terms of the status, the state has made a plea offer. It was communicated relatively recently. Discovery is, I have to say, for the most part, complete just because of the nature of the ongoing investigation. Obviously, part of the defendant's charge has to do with untruthfulness regarding whether or not the child was in the household. So while the investigation into the whereabouts of the child is ongoing, the state considers that relevant discovery to give to the defendant in terms of anything learned about the whereabouts of the missing child. Much discovery has been given. I checked, it's approximately 3,500 pages, approximately 70, 80 media discs.
3,500 pages, 70 to 80 media discs. Ed, you do courtroom testimony all the time. That's a lot of data.
Yeah, I've reviewed materials just like that for preparation for cases that I was involved in post-career. I would get reams and reams of paper, and then back in the day when we were using DVDs and CD-ROMs, photographs, and So I had to review testimony, grand jury testimony, lab reports, all kinds of stuff. And then I would have to review what reports produced by defense attorneys, experts, and depending on the case and so forth.
Wow.
And it would take days and days to go through all of that stuff.
Yeah, and this seems like it's ongoing. He said it's compiling daily. Julia for Justice, thank you for the super sticker and thank you for the support. We greatly appreciate it. I'm going to let the rest of this play, and we'll hear what the defense attorney talks about. But here he's just describing the amount of evidence that they have in this case, which to me is encouraging that they have this amount of evidence going forward. It tells me that they're doing a lot of work. Right, Ed? Don't you feel that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of behind the scenes work that we will not know about, we'll never know about. And this is the keeping it close to the chest and, keeping the integrity of the investigation by not putting out, hey, we're going to expose all our cards. This is what we have. It just doesn't work that way. So this is a prime example right here.
In terms of anything learned about the whereabouts of the missing child. Much discovery has been given. I checked, it's approximately 3,500 pages, approximately 70, 80 media discs. So to that extent, it's largely complete, but as the investigation continues, additional discovery is being generated and will be turned over. But it's largely complete at this point.
All right. So I guess Attorney Garrity, is that your view of the status as well?
It is, Your Honor. We've had ongoing discussions, even though the offer was just recently extended. I've discussed it with Ms. Montgomery. A counter to some extent was made to the state. And we're asking at this point in time that the court schedule it for a status hearing to give us additional time to further our discussions and for Ms. Montgomery and myself to review the discovery materials that have been provided by the state.
Okay. And about how long do you want for that status?
30 to 45 days, if that works for the court.
That'd be fine. The state would be in agreement.
Okay. So can we have a status in about, is that?
So he says 30 to 45 days, but now we see the judge says, I want an answer. I don't want to come back in 30 to 45 days and have you guys say we need more time. So I think they agree on 60 here, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So we're looking into June for them to say yes or no, we're going to accept it. And we're going to get into if she says no, because that was a couple of people in the chat. A couple of people in the chat said, DutyRon and Ed, what happens if she doesn't take this plea deal? And we'll talk about that at the end of this.
At a realistic, I mean, I don't want to have you come back here unless you think that that's a realistic time frame. I'd rather set a realistic time frame when you have something.
Maybe 60 days. Does that make sense?
Sure, I'll defer to, it's a lot of discovery to go through, so I defer to defense.
Maybe 60 days, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll set that in 60 days, and at that point, perhaps you'll know whether you want to set it down for trial at that point, or whether you have some other resolution.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Thursday, June 9th at 9 o'clock.
June 9th at 9. Does
So
that
as you
work?
can see, there's people in the audience
That should
there,
work
but
for the
they're hearing
state.
more cases. It's not the only case in that courtroom.
That's a good date for me currently, but I've got jury selection scheduled in Hillsborough South on an AFSA
All right,
case.
I'm gonna
scheduled
stop
for
this here because this
June
is
6th,
just
I just don't-
hogwash after this. So Ed, let's talk about this. Amelia first puts up a message in the chat. She says, Kayla is sober and clean now. She must have some redeeming qualities and she should say all she knows if she hasn't lost her decency as well. Pretty good statement there, but clean and sober. She was ordered by the court. Obviously she can't, Anthony Ganji from Tier Talk could debate this with us. I was going to say she can't get drugs in jail, but
Yeah, she's in. She's not out.
yeah, she's in.
Okay.
She's
And
in.
she's looking to get out. And Amelia, I'm sorry to say, but there's a lot of drug activity inside of jail.
Correct. That's pretty much what I'm saying. But for all argument's sake, we could just say we'll assume that she's not getting high in jail. And if she was, I think it would be clear and evident. She looked cleaned up a little bit in her appearance that I saw her in recently. And but again, like we're saying, being clean and sober sometimes does make you think much more, straightforward. But if once a shithead, always a shithead, So
Yeah.
I bleeped out half of it. But.
Well, a couple things from the video. So the prosecution is giving all the discovery information over to the defense team so that the defense team can see the strength of the case against the defendant in this case.
Right.
And based upon their assessment of that, and it seems like there'll be counter offers to the plea deal. The plea deal.
Right.
And so that's what they're doing here. And is this a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
Okay, so folks, how many pages did they say? 3,600 pages, and whatever the case may be.
There's a ton of stuff
for a lawyer to go through that. They don't go through it for free. Those are billable hours. Okay, so that lawyer is going to have to go through all of that information, and he's going to be billing the court at taxpayer expense to go through each and every document and each and every electronic file to prepare the case. Right. I know when I did it, when they gave me the stuff, I did it. I billed them for the hours it took me to review all the documents and information they gave me so that I can generate a report.
Right. Yeah. So all of this is coming at the taxpayers, and it happens in all the cases. But again, we heard the attorney for Kayla Montgomery say, hey, we want 30 to 45 days. He was, I think at that point, because most defense attorneys, if they feel they need more time, they don't want to have another date and then have more appearances. They kind of want to be able to come into court and say, okay, we're ready to go, either, go and accept the plea deal, or we want to. Okay, so here now I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question for the folks. So if Caleb does not accept this plea deal, then the prosecution, that's the district attorney that was standing on the left, they go full tilt to the letter of the law on the extent of the charges that she's charged with, and that is defrauding the federal government with food stamp money for a child who was not in the residence of $1,500. These are felony charges. And again, people argue that she's scared to be out because of Adam. Some people feel that Adam Montgomery has this huge power outside of jail, and that he has a gang of people that are killing people. I really feel strongly that his ex-girlfriend that was found in the car with him on December 31st, when they were living in the car and the wheels of justice started happening on the Harmony Montgomery case, I really feel that she met her maker because of her vices that she had. I don't think anybody went out and executed her to shut her up. Although it could be possible. Could that be possible, Ed? Yes.
Yes.
But she got DWI'd and now has a felony charge. She was operating a motor vehicle outside of a sober home that she was at, trying to get herself cleaned by the cops. So she got a felony case, and she was supposed to be back. She got locked up March 8th outside this sober home. And then March 13th, I think, or the 15th was her court date, or the 18th or something like that. And she was supposed to be back to court. So she decided to go to some motel and overdose and get high,
Right.
So.
Now there's questions going back and forth. They're asking about, why are they negotiating between the defense team and the prosecutors on the plea deal? And that always happens. Okay. I'm sure there's some time involved in here that the prosecutors are looking for her to do. And so, and I'm sure the defense is trying to minimize that time. All right. But here's the deal. If defense team is going to have to proffer to the prosecutors what the defendant is going to give them in terms of information about the missing child, and that has to meet the needs of the prosecution in order for her to get the deal.
Right.
Okay. And if what they're going to proffer doesn't do that, or the counter offer isn't reasonable, then the prosecutor is going to walk away from the deal and take her to court. Now, this is also a federal crime.
Yeah. Okay.
So the feds could step in at any time and take her federally for the abuse of the food stamps, the fraud with the food stamps and the welfare and so forth.
Right. It's state and federal. There's both charges because food stamps in all states are federally funded and state funded. So it's, regular, the straight out charge from the state of New Hampshire and also through the federal government. So the attorney was given probably those kind of threats from the prosecution. And I'm only saying threats to give it in layman's terms, but basically they're telling him, hey, we can go full tilt with this if she doesn't accept this plea on the state level and federal. So that's part of the conversation that goes on behind the scenes. We've heard it so many times because it goes on in some closed hearings that I've been in attendance to working in the fugitive. I've heard so many other cases before mine gets called, and I've been involved in a lot of these cases. And guess what? A lot can hang over this woman's head. If she is afraid to be out on the outside, I really feel that she should, nonetheless, if she has information, to save her own butt, she's gonna say, I'm gonna weigh out my options and I'm gonna roll the dice. Most people would rather be free. Listen, you can't put a price tag on your freedom, so most people would rather be free than be locked down. And I think Kayla is gonna accept this deal and she's gonna turn. You got some unsolved crimes covered?
Yes. So yes, the plea deal has not been made public. It has not been released. The only people that know it are the prosecutors, defense attorney, and the judge. That's it. So they're in negotiations right now. So that's what this is all about. It's like you're playing poker and the defense attorney says, okay, I call you, show me your hand. And they're showing the hand by giving them all the discovery information, which they're entitled to, by the way, anyhow, if they're going to trial. But they're not entitled to it now. They're entitled to it before trial. Right. Okay. Yeah. But for this plea deal, they made this arrangement. Hey, we're going to show you our cards. This is what we got on her. Right. Okay. And this is why you should take this deal that we're offering you. And you will have to give us evidence of what she's going to tell us about the missing child.
Right. And someone says, does she have to testify against him? Absolutely. If she gives information that leads to either the getting to the bottom of what happened to Harmony Montgomery, doesn't necessarily have to lead to the recovery of Harmony Montgomery, but we would hope and pray that she would give up all of that. But yeah,
well, that might be a part of the plea deal where she's going to be forced to testify against her husband, but in reality, by law, she doesn't have to.
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. Let me play this third piece because this is another. Let me just see if I played this already. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so this is a Boston station. This is a story that is transpiring amongst two states. Massachusetts authorities dropped the ball initially by giving Adam Montgomery a known, career criminal custody of his child. I don't know what they were thinking, or that's a whole nother live stream. I've done so many of these where I'm going off on these people. So it happened in Massachusetts and led into New Hampshire. So it's a multi-state screw up here, and at the back on the back of a 7-year-old girl. She was 5 at the time. But let's play the coverage from Massachusetts and see what they have to say.
Let's get to another story that's gotten national attention this evening. As the search continues for missing 7-year-old New Hampshire girl Harmony Montgomery, there are new developments in the case against her stepmother. Kayla Montgomery is charged with welfare fraud. NBC 10's Catherine Underwood was in court today and has the latest now from Manchester.
For the first time, we're learning the state has offered Kayla Montgomery a plea, but the defense says they're not even close to striking a deal.
Kayla maintains her not guilty plea at this point in time.
Black eye?
The search for 7-year-old.
Hold on a minute. Yeah, he's got a shine
at this point in time.
The search for 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery continues as the welfare fraud case against the child's stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, plays out in court.
It's approximately 3,500 pages, approximately 70, 80 media discs.
The state has turned over its evidence to defense attorney Paul Garrity, who says this about the state's plea offer.
In the context of what she's charged with, it's extraordinarily high.
Montgomery faces 2 misdemeanors and a felony for allegedly cashing about $1,500 worth of welfare checks for Harmony during a time the child was missing. Thursday, Garrity asked the judge for 60 days to further review the state's evidence and discuss the plea with his client.
Right now, as I say, it's simply a theft charge. There's no indication that I've seen whatsoever that the state has evidence that Kayla was involved with any of the actions that may have taken place with Harmony.
Harmony was last seen in late 2019, but wasn't reported missing until about 2 years later. Prosecutor Jesse O'Neill says investigators are leaving no stone unturned and won't stop until they find her.
Every day, every person that we talk to, we do feel like we're getting closer.
Now, Kayla Montgomery remains behind bars this evening. She's scheduled for another hearing sometime in June. Reporting in.
So there you have it. I thought it would be a little bit different. I didn't review that, so I just put that on. Again, it gives us a good overview for the folks who are coming in late. Lieutenant Pete Pranzo's here. Hello, boss. Good to see you, LT. Thank you for joining. Man, he's always clear and present for duty. Him and Richella, they're just the tremendous supporters of Crime Time with DutyRon, police off the cuff. And,
you know, it was a good Clipper media. They gave the back and forth between the prosecutor's opinion on the case and the defense opinion of the case. And, you know, there's a time element here too, because their investigation is ongoing, as the prosecutor said, and they're developing more and more information. So if they solve the case before she takes the plea, she's screwed.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, the defense can bolster all they want and, you know, can do their peacocking, if you know what we say. But it's all for nothing if they solve this case before she accepts that plea. Once they accept it, the plea's gone.
That's a great point you just brought up, and you know, a lot of people wouldn't have jumped on that, and you again, it gives urgency for them to say, hey, maybe we should take this plea deal because we stand to you know, have a little bit of leeway where she wouldn't be sitting there in lockup for extended time, 20 years plus. I don't know what, you know, what these charges federally would hit her with. And you know that when you go in fed, you do that time. If you're sentenced to 10 years, that's what you're doing. You're doing 10.
No bail.
Ron, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who positively engages here and all the commenters. We love and appreciate you guys tremendously. Your engagement with us is great. By a show of hands, who enjoys these updates on Crime Time with DutyRon? If you're a new subscriber, let us know by putting a new in the chat. Let me and Ed know what you're interested in seeing and hearing by going over to DutyRon.com. You can go into the crime section and you can put a message and send a message directly to me. I get them all every day. Let me know what you want to see or what you want to hear. I mean, Ed and I are just human beings. He works a pretty full schedule. I work a full schedule. So we try to squeeze these things in for you guys. And I think we do a heck of a job. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but we definitely do a good job of juggling this true crime content from a police perspective. And I know that all you guys that are in here, you really love this. So thank you. Pineapple Slushy is here again. I love that screen name. Look at that. Pineapple Slush. It sounds so good. Let's see. Is anybody new joining in? There's close to 650 people in the chat. Good to see everybody returning. Yes, Denise, I concur. Another 60 days, that poor little girl. Yeah. It's a wait game. Nothing happens fast when it comes to court. Ed, you could talk about court appearances and things getting delayed and defense attorneys not showing up and, you know, having they wanted to talk about other cases too on the docket. They were all ending, so I stopped it. But Susan is new. Thank you so much for joining, Susan Thorsden. Thank you. I love your profile picture. It looks very serene there.
Where is that, Susan? Where is that? Let us know.
That's a great picture. Yeah. Sweet one, Sweet Caroline. Sweet Caroline.
Dun, dun, dun. Good times never seem so good. So good. So good. I feel like I'm in Boston again.
All right. So yeah, we have to put a little comedy into this because
Lock Island, Rhode Island. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Susan.
Excellent. So anybody have any questions, concerns, or comments in regards to Kayla Montgomery's plea deal? I think we covered it pretty well. I think, it should be clear and concise to everybody now that Ed and I spent 40 minutes here on speaking about this. It is an opportunity for the prosecution to further their case, and they won't stop. As you heard, that was the Attorney General. He said, we will not stop until we find Harmony Montgomery. And I like that. I like hearing that. I don't know how many people in the chat like that kind of talk, because some people, if Joe Murray was here, he'd be like, that goes against the Constitution. People talked about the sheriff down in Florida talking about the needle and talking about him being aggressive towards his feelings. We're not supposed to be biased. We're not supposed to. But we see these scumbags all the time. We see these pieces of crap. And we know when there's somebody in front of us that's guilty, we don't even have to go through the trial. We kind of know, but we know that there's that process and we got to let it go. So I don't know. Ed, am I off base here? Reel me in, Ed.
It's a very frustrating process, and for those of us who've been through it, have called down on cases, testified, cross-examined, and what I do, we don't take sides. So forensics is non-bias. It is science. It's either right or it's wrong. I welcome peer review from fellow forensic scientists and crime scene investigators to look at what I've done and try to punch holes in it. It only makes me stronger investigator. And I testify for both the defense and the prosecution. Sometimes the prosecution doesn't call me because they're not going to use the science, and they'd rather go with an eyewitness testimony type of case. And sometimes the defense calls me because the work that I've done shows better for the defendant in various aspects of the case.
Right.
So, but you get there. It's sometimes from the time of arrest to the time of trial could be 18 months to 2 years or more. Right. And then you have to, in all that time, you're still investigating other cases, right? And then you get called up. You go down to the district attorney's office or the defense attorneys, and then you do a briefing, if you will, with the defense attorney, with the prosecutors as to what you did, what it means, how it impacts the case, and then they'll go over questions that they're going to ask you on the stand. So they give you the list of the questions so that you can prepare yourself, and then it's hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the
crazy part is hurry up and wait. Jaylene Heath puts up a question for you, Ed. It's a good one. If that means Kayla Montgomery, if she was involved, do you think they are going to give her immunity? Thank you for that.
No, I don't think so. Maybe the defense attorney is looking for that, and that's why they're negotiating. He's looking for that immunity. But I think they have a very strong case against her right now. She's the one that can't cash those checks. There's her name, her signature on those checks. The video evidence at the bank, cash the checks, right? So, I think they got her. They got a strong case against her. The defense is claiming that the charges are too high for this type of incident, but she wants to get out of it. Tell us what happened to the child.
Exactly. Speak up, do the right thing. Just like the police chief said, enough's enough. The people, you got to step up, come forward. They were talking about a little girl, 5 years old at the time, now 7. It's just this stuff tugs at our heartstrings. Rhonda, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that.
And for Rose, the defense attorney and the DAs, they call it prepping us, but it's us prepping them. And it's a briefing. They don't know what we do. They don't know all that we know. They don't know our science and our work, and so they know some, but they're not expert in it as we are. So we are the subject matter experts in this. So when we go there, we're basically telling them, this is what I've done. This is what it means. This is how it impacts your case.
Exactly. And there's my good friend Mike King from Profiling Evil. Guys, if you're not subscribed to his channel, that's another great source for valid, good information. Mike King is a great professional law enforcement, retired professional from the Utah area, Ogden, I believe. Mike is a great friend of the channel. So there he is, Profiling Evil. He says, hey, fellas, thanks for banging the bell. Science over emotion. Yeah.
Amen, Mike.
Yeah. Good to see Mike King. Yeah, thank you for stopping in, brother. Yeah, so I think we covered it all. I just want to just look quickly to see if there's any more questions in the chat. Jane says, this is a great comment. The truth will come out. Justice has to be served. Amen to that, my sister. Amen. Amen.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Crocheting Me Pink says, I wish the system is harder on those who commit crimes. We all do. We all want to look for more swifter punishment to help deter future crimes, right? You know, if people see that they are going to do 10 years in the slammer for committing, you know, petty theft and things of that nature, they're less apt to do it. And that's a fact. Those who follow the laws that make choice, those who choose to be criminals don't. Straight knowledge. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah,
that was a great
don't
comment.
do the crime if you can't do the time.
Bingo. Yeah, Pat's cat says, love Mike King. How could you not? He's a great guy, and he's part of the retired law enforcement community, and he's got great ethics. He's got a great channel. So yeah, I can't say enough good about him. So guys, much love and respect from Ed and I. Ed, you got any final words for the troops? I know Ed.
Yeah.
Everybody always loves to hear your words.
Well, the bottom line is everybody always be safe. Be prepared. Don't be a victim of crime.
I got to get back to this one. Yeah, amen to that, Ed. So here's a question from Susan Thordson. She says, where did you guys work out of in the NYPD? My ex is a retired detective in the NYPD. Well, I'm going to tell you where I worked out of. We'll go full screen with me because I don't get enough airtime here. I worked in fugitive enforcement. I was on patrol, and I worked in the New York City Housing Police Authority Police Department. So I patrolled public housing on my patrol time, and I worked in fugitive enforcement. I also worked in the joint task force with the New York State Parole and the NYPD. It was a program called the Top Unit. It was the Target Offender Program, and we went after felony released parolees, and we made sure that they were staying in line. And when they weren't staying in line, we would flip them for search warrants for guns and drugs to get those off the street. So I did that for quite a bit of time. But working in fugitive enforcement helped me to understand the court system really well, because I spent every day in the courts bringing back people that were on the run in other states, take guys and put them on airplanes and fly them back to New York. So it was a pretty cool job. But we're going to have Ed Wallace tell you what he did, and we might need another hour for that. But
okay. Well, I started my career in the 70 precinct in Brooklyn and Flatbush area. I was foot post in the Junction area by Brooklyn College and Midwood High School. Then I was Sector John when I was in the RMP. Then I was anti-crime. Then I became the training officer, went back to college at night to finish up a master's degree. And then I got transferred to the crime scene unit. I did 15 years there. I became a certified senior crime scene analyst and promoted 3 times there. I have all kinds of certifications from that, including hazardous materials and bloodstain pattern analysis, shooting reconstruction. Then my last year on a job, I was yanked out of the crime scene against my will. I didn't request a transfer, but I was put into the Deputy Commissioner of Counterterrorism's office, and I was doing all kinds of secret squirrel counterterrorism stuff for the commissioner and the commanding officer of the Counterterrorism Bureau.
That's an impressive resume right there. And I know you gave the condensed version because I have the full one right over here on my cheat sheet. Yeah, Ed, you're definitely a retired officer, retired detective that has a tremendous amount of experience, and you continue to do that in your retired life. And that's what makes you so important and such great value to the listeners, the viewers, because what you talk about is the real deal. So
listen, if I see what Sweet Cherry wrote, but if any of my if any of our family here gets in trouble and they need help from me, I'm there.
Excellent. Yeah, Lorna McKenzie from the UK says, "Wow, Ed, holy cow!" So yeah,
Greatest detectives in the world right here.
Bingo. Yes. And we have all kinds of great information to pass forward to you guys from that police and investigator perspective. I think with me and Ed, it's a 1-2 punch. But when we start bringing in Dr. Murray Marks and Ian Dodor from Down Under.
Good day.
Yeah, good day, mate. When we start bringing in our Aussie friends and who else? We had
Our
Larry
other experts,
Dobrin,
Barbara
yeah,
Butcher,
Barbara,
and
Larry Dobrin, the forensic odontologist. I mean, and Ed's Rolodex is long and deep. That thing goes around like a merry-go-round. It's like the big Wonder Wheel at Coney Island. It's just got so much information in it, right, Ed? Yeah. So, guys, wishing you all a great Saturday afternoon. I got to get ready because Mrs. DutyRon wants me to take her around shopping. She was just having her nails done. So I just got the call that she's coming back. So I got to get ready. I got to put my Superman cape on and watch her as she goes out shopping and whatnot, do my thing. So I'm locked and loaded and I'm ready to go. Ed, anything else? I see you're looking at the comments.
Yeah. Well, unsolved crime uncovered. Yeah, we do teach. I do teach. I teach all over the world. I teach all over the nation. That's LSU. And this is part of it right here. This is a Homeland Security training that we provide emergency responders throughout the nation to prepare them.
Yeah, and Ed, I can testify to that because some nights when I need Ed, he's in the classroom teaching, and he's teaching fellow members of the service across the country and across the globe, for that matter. But yes, Alicia B says, "Is Timmy Acosta here so we can thank him again for connecting you two?" Listen, if it wasn't for Tim, I would not be connected with Ed. And Alicia, you pay close attention, and I know that you're very good at paying attention to details. And if we didn't connect, if I didn't have Timmy Acosta here saying, "Hey, you need to get a hold of this guy," and if I didn't follow through, and the first case Ed came on and spoke to you all about was over a year ago. It was right after St. Patty's Day, and it was the Christine Engelhardt case.
Yeah, spring break case.
Yeah,
terrible.
Yep, she was poisoned by a fatal dose of fentanyl. And Barbara called it on that live stream. I got to pull that up. I'm going to have Josh put that up. We described the pill to her, and she said, "It appears to me," I'm not saying this is exactly what it was, but it would appear to me that it was fentanyl that was given to her.
Well, fentanyl is the leading cause of death in the United States right now for a specific age group, and over 100,000 people every year are dying from fentanyl overdoses. Just a couple of micrograms, a couple of crystals of salt in comparison is enough to kill a person.
Yeah.
So very dangerous stuff. Just holding a pill in your hand that has fentanyl, the fentanyl will leach into your skin and into your blood system and potentially kill you.
Yeah. It is highly, highly dangerous. You don't want to be anywhere near anything like that. And the kids of this current day and age. Oh, there's Timmy. The kids of this current day and age, they're messing around with a whole bunch of different people. They're intermingling, going down to spring break, and it's happening like crazy. I saw a report this morning that there were 7 mass overdoses of fentanyl in the past several weeks.
Yes.
And multiple, I think 23 or 28 people died. And these are young kids we're talking about. This is not, folks our age.
And internationally, they're moving fentanyl into a pharmaceutical weapon of mass destruction category, which the United States hasn't done yet. I don't know why they're dragging their feet. Thanks, Tim. By the way, thanks for introducing me to Ron. And then by extension to the real crime DutyRon family here.
Yeah. I mean, I can't thank them enough. Hold on a second.
Right. In God we trust, all others we polygraph.
There you go. That's courtesy of Timmy Acosta. Thank you, Tim. Love you, brother. We got to get together with him. We got to go out and have a dinner or a lunch with Timmy. There's also a great friend of the channel in here. Nothing But Love is here. Thank you, Denise, for always being here and interacting with everybody. I don't know if you notice, and I know that you do, but I don't know how sharply you notice that the stuff is like our community. When they're on the chats, they're like, "Hey, how are you? How's the kids?" It's like a family community here, and
they're all different types of family. Just another one of them.
Yeah, It's great.
We may be all over the world in all different nations and speak many different languages, but we're all here.
What I love about it is we are a great community together. We respect each other. Lots of us have different thought processes and different, religions, different political sides and things of that nature, but we don't ever let it get in the way of our, doing what we're doing here. And what we're doing is educate folks on the process, what goes on in an investigation and how these cases unfold. So it's great. Listen, I'm going to get out of here because I'm doing the Italian thing. As I always say, I'm going to get out, and it takes me 20 minutes to get out. So love and respect be on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We appreciate you guys. Leave us comments down below. Please, please hit that thumbs up if you're here right now. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We appreciate you. Consider becoming Patreon supporters, channel members, and supporting us through watching the videos and just letting the ads run. Also, you could shop on our Amazon affiliate link. There's so many ways to do it for free, but subscribing is free. Please do that. Guys, good day from New York. Ed are you in an undisclosed location? Or
No, I'm in Staten Island.
Staten Island. Yeah.
Staten, Italy.
Staten, Italy. There you go. Guys, love yous. Thank you for joining, and peace from DutyRon and Ed.
Ciao, Paisan.